Hello everybody, welcome to another DVD Blu-Ray collection update video, and today we are doing the second annual Criterion 50% off flash sale. So that said, I've got the box right here, so let's get started. And I'm hoping I think I got some good stuff in here this time. Oh yes, okay. So, here we are. Alright, so I'm going to start off with Barry Lyndon, Stanley Kubrick's iconic period drama from 1975, which features some of the best cinematography ever in the history of film. Kubrick used a specific type of lens that was originally developed by NASA to give the feel of almost like a painting, and that's exactly what this is. It's watching this movie is like watching a work of art, and not to mention the story of a social climber who falls victim to his excesses. This is just a really fantastic film. I know there are those who don't like Kubrick. I totally understand. But at the same time, it's important to understand that he made thought-provoking films that were challenging, daring, and very different. You know, this film, has Ryan O'Neal and Marissa Berenson, as well as Rion Fatali, who would later become Stanley Kubrick's right-hand man on The Shining, Full Metal Jacket, and Eyes Wide Shut, and would handle all the home video rights and everything up until, I think, 2019, I think. There's a really great documentary about him called Film Worker, which I hugely encourage you to check out. But anyway, Barry Lyndon. This is a film that is very different from a lot of dramas at the time because every single shot in this movie is like looking into a 18th century painting. There's a lot of really slow zooms. There's slow close-ups. The music is very fitting with the period as well. And on top of that, it also has a really good story. Like, you're not technically supposed to be rooting for this character because he's not very likable, but you also are, and that's, it's a very, really great film. Yes, I got the Criterion edition because my copy that I have is, I'm worried it might be part of a disc rot, so part of a disc rot club, so I'm glad that I have a backup. Alright, next up we have The Wages of Fear. When did this come out? 1953. I was going to say 54, but I wanted to be sure. This was directed by Henri Georges Clouseau. If you recall, he also directed Diabolique, which was also awesome. In fact, the spine numbers are actually matching too. So Diabolique is spine number 35, and Wages of Fear is 36. They fit perfectly. Anyway, if you want to know Barry Lyndon's spine number, it's 897. Anyway, Wages of Fear. This is actually a brand new release. They actually re-released this film in a 4K restoration, and you can get the original release if you want to, but I recommend you get this, mostly because of the fact that it's brand new, there's a new pressing on it and everything, so definitely check that out. The plot of the film is very simple. It primarily involves a group of men who are tasked with the impossible. They are asked to transport nitroglycerin from point A to point B. They can't move any faster than a certain speed. You can't have any bumps. There should be no bumping at all. And on top of that, there's, every single person takes the job for different reasons, but the main goal is that, there's a big prize reward. But at the same time, it's also a suicide mission. So that adds a level of tension there. This is a film that, this is just one of the best thrillers. I mean, there's no, I understand that it's very slow. It's very quiet. It's also very, there's not much action in it. But what makes good thrillers in the first place? Keeping you on the edge of your seat. Have as, but less that happens, the more that you will build up eventually to the overarching goal. And that's the thing, is that all we're doing is just transporting nitroglycerin, dynamite, essentially. But the thing is that the road to this destination is so treacherous and so bumpy and so, like anything can go wrong at any moment. And that's exactly what you feel when you're watching this. You feel as though your nerves are just like, it keeps you on the edge of your seat, and it's really well done. Great thriller. Alright, next. Never mind. Alright, next up. I know, there's some piece of paper on top of it. Anyway. Omnibaba from 1964. Criterion number 226. Omnibaba. I've seen a few Japanese horror films. I mean, I know we all talk about The Grudge and Marine, but there were some Japanese horror films that came out in the 50s and 60s. There was one that I saw called Kwaidan, which was pretty good, so I will probably pick that up at some point. And I think there was also this one with a K. I think it's called Kawaido, I think it's called. And then there's the 1977 film House, which is absolutely amazing. But this one from 1964 is a very different type of Japanese horror film. For one thing, it's more psychological. It's kind of hard to explain, but the plot mainly involves a mom and her daughter in post-war Japan, or I think it's... Oh no, I'm sorry, medieval Japan. Excuse me, medieval Japan. So it's war-torn medieval Japan. There's a mom and his daughter are living in this farming shack of sorts, when all of a sudden this guy comes around and he's interested in the daughter, but the mom isn't giving in. And the best I can explain it is... This one's kind of hard to explain. It's hard to explain. I forgot to mention that they actually murder other samurais. I forgot to mention that. They actually murder other samurais, and then, they sell the armor in order to pay for food, because they're living in this shack. It's very, they have to, farm, but then they also have to, sell dead samurai armor. And all of a sudden, there's this mask that's on the cover here. And I don't want to give too much away, because it is a really good little movie. And the best I can explain it is, it's kind of like that one nightmare you have of someone comes in, but then they're not really good people, but then I don't know how to explain it. I really don't. I don't know how to explain this. But yeah, it's... I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. This movie is so different from a lot of the horror films that came out at the time that it's definitely a must-watch. Especially toward the last, I think, 35 minutes, something like that. It's very different. It's a very different type of film. It's a very different film. I don't know how to explain it, but it's really good. And the last one I have is a film that you need to watch. You need to see this film. In fact, you also need to buy a copy of this movie, because this movie it needs your support badly. And that's the thing. I love getting Criterion Blu-rays because they have great image quality, digitally restored. They handle the movies with care and precision, and they really know how to make high quality products. But this movie, you need to see this. I swear to God. The Ascent from 1977. Criterion number 1063. Oh my God. Okay. How do I explain this one? Okay. The plot of this movie is set in World War II. There are these Russian soldiers who are trying to... okay. I'm trying to explain this in a way where I'm not going to spoil it. Anyway, so there are these two Russian soldiers in Bolivia who are invading Nazi territory. They're trying to get supplies, but then they get separated from their group. And they're trying to avoid being captured by the Nazis. And that ends up happening anyway, but one of them is injured. And essentially he's injured, and they end up getting captured by the Nazis anyway. And now it's just a matter of survival. This movie asks a very, very hard question. What is humanity anyway? What is humanity? Somebody who sacrifices their own morals and beliefs to survive? Or someone who stands tall and proud with her beliefs but end up getting killed as a result? What is humanity? What does it mean to be human? What exactly does it mean, to survive? This asks a lot of hard questions, but it's absolutely vital that you need to see this. It's almost poetic in a sense. It's a very poetic type of movie. I don't know how to explain it in a way where, good art is something that is very difficult to explain because you don't want to spoil it, but you also don't want to ruin the integrity of it. It's a film dealing with what does it mean to be a human being? Somebody who stands firm with their beliefs but end up getting killed anyway, or someone who sacrifices their beliefs and morals and who they are as a person to live, to survive. Like, what does it mean to be a human being? And all these questions and poetic, it's almost like a poetic ballet of different ideas and things happening. It's just really great. And the way that this movie, plays out, it's so, it's really deep, and it's, check this out, please. Check this movie out, please. Go buy this during the next flash sale or at your next Barnes & Noble trip. It is worth it, I swear. It's something, for sure. It's really fantastic. Okay, so that is it. That is it, folks. Thank you all so very much for watching. And until next time, I will see all of you later.